Well, hello, everybody. I'm meteorologist Autumn Lewandowski, and it's our Thursday. It's the mild day, or I should say, the last of the extremely mild days here in Western New York. We're coming to you because we're going to talk about the weekend ahead. There is some snow in the forecast for some folks, and really, some models are going there's variations of what will end up taking place for the upcoming weekend. So give us your questions, give us the shout outs, let us know what you're doing this weekend and what you may need to know weather wise across the area. And I will try to inform you with the best knowledge that I have at this point. Hair is wind blown, makeup's not really all set for the day quite yet, because this is the kind of the first time that I'm seeing all the new models for today. So we're going to go through some of that, and then I'm going to get into the studio and update everything from there. So you'll have the first bit of what's going on before we broadcast that at 5 p.m. So the 10-day forecast from Olean. Well, this weekend in Olean is going to be a lot different than here in Buffalo, let me tell you, because it is going to be colder. We are going to see more snowflakes in that area, but even so, being in the southern tier in Olean, you have to be pushed a little further west and even north. Looks like that's where there'll be the best shot of snow. So as we take a look at 7 Super Doppler, you can see that band of rain that's headed into Western New York. And with that, this is going to come with some higher winds as well. Right now, we're currently sitting under mostly cloud. We have a blanket of cloud cover out there. The western end of Lake Erie is now seeing the rain showers. And this is going to approach by the time we head into our late evening and overnight. Temperatures right now are in the 60s. We're in the upper 50s for the southern tier. It's those southeasterly winds that are really warming us up. Samantha's saying it's going to be like Snowvember. That is likely not going to happen. We're not going to have the right recipe for a sustained amount of time over Buffalo or even the South towns to have that amount of snow. But we are going to get some, and I'm going to talk about how things are going to change. Snow in Springville, we are going to talk about that as well for you, Sherry Lynn. Before we get there, I'll go quickly through tonight. Gusty winds, temperatures are going into the near 40-degree mark. We'll still be in the 50s tomorrow, and some morning showers will be followed by sunshine, and then even some very minor lake effect rain showers. Talking about this evening, anybody that's going to be traveling south along southern Erie and Chautauqua County lines and along the lakeshore and even the Chautauqua Ridge, you're going to find some higher wind gusts for this evening. This begins at 6 p.m., rolls through Friday morning around 4 a.m., but the majority or the height of this happens through the evening hours and the early overnight hours. Looking at wind gusts for the day today, the Buffalo airport will be around 30 to 35 mile an hour winds. In those areas south of Buffalo, that's where those near 50 mile per hour wind gusts can occur. With that, higher profile vehicles, your semis, especially semis that don't have larger loads or heavier loads within them. You'll have to be careful on the roadways this evening. And then the scattered power outages, that may also be an issue with some of those wind gusts. So that's something that we'll have to keep in mind going through the later evening hours. Looking at this hour by hour, I talked about there not being rain until the overnight. And I know no one really even cares about rain at this point, but it's the precursor to what's to come as we head into the upcoming weekend. So we'll deal with rain showers, even sticking around some spotty showers for the early morning commute on Friday. Then we'll start to dry out for much of the area. Southeast or southwesterly winds. We have the southeasterly winds today. There'll be more southwesterly winds tomorrow. And we're going to be in the lower 50s. So we'll have enough moisture around to get a little bit of a lake response. This is in the form of rain showers. You could see it near the airport, Cheektowaga, and then areas to the east, just grazing, I should say, Batavia and that Genesee County line. As the winds shift a little bit north, that moves north as well, and then much of our afternoon is rain-free. Looking at the evening, still some scattered showers. That's along the lake some lake-induced showers from Long Point right to about Niagara Falls. And then here's where the switchover occurs coming into Saturday morning. Temperatures are cold enough for the southern tier from Jamestown to Olean and Bradford. We're still dealing with rain shower activity. It will be a fine line being at that 40-degree mark on Saturday to see a bit of a mix or a changeover for Niagara Falls and for downtown Buffalo as well. And this is where I want to talk about. So everyone that was just talking about snowfall totals and what we can expect where, this is one of the models, and it's called the European model. This by Saturday morning, obviously, there's really nothing. And almost all of our models go along with that. Now, what may scare you in this is that you see, maybe not even scare you, because some of the highest totals are only about 6 inches or so. That's in some of the darker hues of blue and then those pinkish purples that are along the ridge in Chautauqua County. But that also runs through Tuesday. If I back it up some, going into Sunday, you're only looking at a couple of inches and not looking at anything in Buffalo whatsoever. Then Monday evening, we'll still see some good setup for those higher elevations to get more snow. Now, this is just one model. The next one that we're going to look at is the GFS. And going into Saturday morning, yet again, nothing for Buffalo. There is that colder changeover that you saw right along the peninsula there as we were looking at rain and snow on that hour-by-hour forecast. Now we're seeing a little bit more of a total there. And then even for Jamestown to Ellicottville and Olean, having some on the ground early Saturday, where the Euro had nothing at all. Now, as we go through time on Saturday, this does put an inch or two in Buffalo, and then leaves the majority of the heavier snow and accumulating snow across the southern tier into Sunday. Notice even into Sunday, now you're getting an inch or two for Buffalo, and those higher amounts start to tally up, especially into Monday, for areas along the ridge and higher elevations, and then going into Chautauqua from about Cherry Creek or so over to Ellicottville, seeing around that 6 to 9 inch mark and going even further into Tuesday as that colder air stays with us. Now, those sound like higher numbers, but if you think about it, the start of this begins Saturday afternoon. So you have Saturday to Sunday, Sunday to Monday, Monday to Tuesday, and you factor that over 3 days, that's about 3 inches a day. Now, it does come down a little bit quicker and in bursts within lake effect bands, but as a whole, those numbers aren't so bad. And looking at Buffalo with this model, we're only at a couple of inches. And as an average, it would be around an inch a day. Of course, that's going to be all dependent on how we see those lake bands move. This is another model. This is called the NAM. And what happens with this one, I'll back it up. And by early Saturday morning, this kind of sees a little bit of that snow for Niagara Falls and Buffalo as well, where the Euro did not. So bear with me. We're going to keep talking about how all these models kind of meld together and how I'll come up with my forecast after it. But this is also showing that there'll be something on the ground as we start our day on Saturday. Then we'll see a little bit more of as the colder air comes into place overnight and into Sunday, you're going to have a couple more inches set on the ground across the southern tier. And then this is only leaving us with about an inch or so for Buffalo. And now this model doesn't extend as far out as the other ones, so it runs only through Sunday. So what ends up happening is we're going to watch on our Saturday how things progress with the colder air. And this model is also going to show us going through the day on Saturday. So there's still more, what you see in the pinks that's near Buffalo and to the north is rain. So we'll get some mixed precipitation. And this is likely the best looking model that we have out right now, which there's a mix for Buffalo, rain to the north, colder for Southern Ontario. So if you're watching from Southern Ontario, if you're in the peninsula or even up towards Hamilton, you're going to get a little bit more of that mix in the morning as well. Now, going through the day, the ridge areas south of Buffalo, Boston Hills, the deeper Boston Hills, and those higher elevations see that switch over happen on Saturday morning. Now, as I run this through and move it into the afternoon, that colder air starts to move a little further to the east. And we still have a bit of a mix for Buffalo. So that's going to be slick roadways, not really much accumulation at all for the city, our connected suburbs from north to our south towns. It's those deeper south towns past 20A southward that will end up seeing a little bit of snow, minor accumulations. And by minor, I would say around an inch. And then going into Sunday, things get colder here. And this is where Buffalo can pick up that inch or two. And those higher elevations will end up dealing with more snow through the day on Sunday, as we still get a bit of that mix coming in for Buffalo, areas to the north, although the southern tier stays cold. And then for Monday, we're going to switch the winds a bit. And this, with northwesterly winds, is going to put more snow on the hills along the Chautauqua Ridge into Cattaraugus County as well. And even coming off of Lake Ontario into Orleans and Genesee County from Monday into Tuesday, with some colder air in place there as well. So looking at this as a whole, minor events over the weekend with a couple of inches of snow, and we'll likely get a little bit more into the higher elevations for Chautauqua and Cattaraugus counties. And then on Monday, that's a better shot to have a lake band that would be more of an impact across the southern tier and even into Tuesday as well. And that's what we'll have to hone in on. So the snowfall total still isn't a great, we don't have a great depiction of what will occur going Monday and Tuesday, because a lot of that has to do with our wind direction and how cold during those time frames from Monday and into Tuesday. But as for the weekend, things are going to look a lot better going even into our evening, as we have this frontal system get closer and then pass by, because models tend to look at that big system first, and then after it passes through, what we can do is look a little bit better at those smaller scales that impact Western New York with lake effect snow. So that's what we'll look at even more so as a dagger with our eyes, to really laser in on what's going to occur for Monday and Tuesday. Because honestly, I mean, it's Thursday afternoon to talk about lake effect snow on Tuesday. Drier air could be in place. We can kind of shut things off a little bit quicker. If that wind shifts a little bit better, we won't see much at all. It's that Sunday, as colder air filters in into Monday, and where that lake effect snow on Monday is too, that really will put down some totals for the southern tier. So anyway, that's kind of the look at the snow for areas especially south of Buffalo. A quick look at what our 7-day forecast is looking like right now. Saturday may tick down a degree or two, but still not a bad looking number at 43. Tuesday, Buffalo doesn't really see any snow. We'll even get some sunshine here, and that's me banking on more of that northwesterly wind, which would put snow across the hills in the southern tier, and where it will also be colder. And then look towards the end of the week, where we'll have temperatures that are in the 50s again, and Thursday in the upper 40s. So no Snowvember, but we will watch where the winds go filtering into our Saturday, because if we get cold enough air before those winds start to shift a little further south, that could put a couple of inches for Buffalo, but then it would be about it. So we're going to have to continue to watch that as it progresses. All other models aren't doing that, but one is trying to set up a band where the colder air is in place, and that would give us a few inches, or even like 3 to 5 for Buffalo and our our immediate suburbs. So that's kind of how it all looks right now. So I am kind of going over all of this with you, and then I'm going to put my thinking cap on and try to put it into better terms and good numbers across the area as well. And hopefully, what I've told you here helps you plan your weekend ahead as well. So that's the latest look, even at the 7 day as well. I'm going to get ready to sign off and get my get everything in gear and get into the studio. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I just started to hang Christmas lights outside. So I did that as an early portion of my day, and now it's all going to change, and the rest of that is going to have to come into play when it's a little bit colder across Western New York. So take it easy, everybody. If you haven't downloaded our app at wkbw.com, you can get it on your phone, and you'll get these updates for you. Everything that we see that's a little bit more micro scaled, you'll get that as well. And of course, you'll have radar, which will be super handy as we go into the upcoming weekend as well. So if you haven't done so yet, do that and take it easy. Have a safe drive or a good afternoon. Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. And we'll see you back at 5. So long.